Hey everybody, it's Leah from Health and Fitness for Everyone. How are we all today? What an awesome end to a week. It's been silly crazy, super busy at work and super busy training, home life and everything else. I got thinking, so I'm driving home, and usually in the quietness of the drive home, I really get a chance to start thinking, and I wanted to just do a quick vid while everything's sort of fresh in my mind. And the question that sort of keeps popping up is, when did we stop eating real food? So as most of you know that who've been following me know that I was a shocking yo-yo dieter. I'd try one thing, have success, blow back out, try another thing, have success, blow back out. And it wasn't that I couldn't do it. But each time I did it, it was getting harder and harder. So in a way, I was looking for the more extreme quick fix. Because the problem was I was after a quick fix. You know, what comes on slowly doesn't necessarily go away quickly. And if it does, I found that it rebounds quite quickly. So I've been studying and doing a lot more of finding out more about nutrition and individualizing things. So this is where a lot of the DNA plans come into place, because the DNA plans are specific for you, your genetic makeup, and what suit you personally. Because there's no one size fits all when it comes to exercise, to training, to basically any health or wellness stuff. And there's not one size fits all. So over the last few weeks, I've been eating my DNA designed health plan, and this week I've really kicked off my DNA training plan, which has been the weight training. And I haven't felt this sore all over for a long time, because I haven't been able to train like I would normally in karate due to some injuries over the last sort of 12 months. So it feels actually sore but good to be back in it. It's been probably 2 years since I've been to the gym, but I've set up my own gym at home now, and can do it at the comfort of my own home. I guess that can sometimes lead to a little bit of complacency and not doing it because you are at home, but it's been really good this week. Anyway, back to the food. So like I said, most of you who follow me all the time know sort of where I'm at and my backstory. If not, maybe jump through some other videos or lives or podcasts, and you'll find out more about my backstory and my journey. So I did a video earlier in the week with my weekly update. And like I said, not much had changed weight-wise. The scales are about the same. Measurements were about the same. Where the previous week my weight was the same, but I'd still lost a few centimeters. But the first, I think 1 or 2 weeks before that, I'd actually lost all up, I think, about 5 kilos and about 15 centimeters. So the first week or two was quite drastic. It really had a bit of a kick. But now that it's sort of settled a little bit, I'm finding I have more energy, I'm sleeping better, I'm not generally dying in the ass at 2 o'clock because I have a lack of energy, but I'm eating better. You know, so many of these diets, restrictive diets, and I have talked about it before, really starve your body and throw so many of your internal systems, like your metabolism and endocrine system and so many other systems inside your body, into turmoil. So it actually, I can feel inside now that things are starting to get back to normal. I'm not expecting huge weight losses at this stage because I feel my body's regulating itself, getting used to eating normal food, getting used to eating 2,200 calories a day. Some of the crazy diets I've done, I've eaten 500 calories a day. And yes, I had success with those as well, but I couldn't sustain it. So, you know, and these are the pros and cons of everything. I was doing a podcast, listening to a podcast of an Australian lady who has her own company called New Strength. Kitty. Now, she's all about strength and health for women, not weight loss, not dieting, eating real food and stuff like that. And she raised some really important issues, and like I said, it really got me thinking. So, when did we stop eating real food? I remember when I was growing up in the 80s and the 90s, there was fast food around, but most of the time you ate at home, you ate at the dinner table, and you ate cooked, proper, prepared meals. But probably going in the beginning of the 2000s, life is getting busier. We're all getting busier. We've got to work harder, longer hours to sustain a lifestyle. Or, I just find it's not financially viable for a lot of people to stay, have the missus stay at home and the husband only work, and those sort of situations that were quite common when I was growing up. It's really hard now. It's hard financially, socially, economically. So I guess it's all of a sudden everything has become busier, even though all this technology should actually be freeing our time, you would think, not actually creating or making it busier. There's so many things we can do at the tip of our fingers now that really should give us more time, but it seems to be detracting from time. And that could be a little bit of, being addicted to devices. It could be the con of having everything at your fingertips. How often do you find yourself scrolling through Facebook instead of actually doing something? So, I guess that's just the way society is. We are very busy, and I find myself quite busy. I do multiple things. I'm helping out in different ways. I teach karate, I'm a part of the Royal Fire Brigade, I work, I have a family, I have kids, so it's a whole mirage of things, and I do find that we get busy. But over the years, I've learned to make time to make proper meals, not to buy packet meals just because I couldn't be bothered cooking. And look, there are days you don't want to cook, or you've been eating all this stuff and you no longer want that variety, or oh my god, you've been stuck on that menu, So I totally understand the changes, but as an economic thing, we are busier. Let's just say that, because there's not many of us, I guess, in certain circumstances that wouldn't be. So it's really, I'm going to say it's really sad how society has actually played on that, because it's made us busy, but it's made the availability of crappy fast foods a norm, a go-to. Going through the drive-thru at Macca's, Hungry Jack's, KFC, Red Rooster, oh my god, there's so many of them now, and there's getting more and more all the time. I've heard a couple new ones that are not so much here in Townsville, but down on the Gold Coast, these burger joints and stuff like that, and they're really just much of a muchness. There's no more real food anymore. Making things from scratch, everything's packeted. It's got to have a longer shelf life. It's got more chemicals in it to preserve. And when you look at the history of what diseases, what sort of health issues we were having 20, 30 years ago, even 50, 60, 70 years ago, compared to now, and you compare the food that we're eating now compared to back then, when you just had good, solid, home-cooked meals, and we all had pastas and rices and potatoes and meat and veggies, flavored with real herbs, spices, salts, peppers. So if you really do look back, you can see the pattern, okay? And I guess I don't want my kids growing up thinking fast foods is the solution to being time poor. Because where there's a will, there's always a way. And I guess I just want to put it out there and get you all thinking, what can you do to ensure that you're eating proper, real food that doesn't take huge amounts of time. Like, I spend a couple of hours usually on a weekend doing my food prep, but I can generally have a cooked meal for lunch and dinner for a fortnight doing that. And I can have quick and easy breakfast, something simple that is not overly time consuming in the morning. I get up early enough in the morning, but I don't need to, cook breakfast generally. I'll cook it the night before, make pancakes and stuff like that, and I can eat them in the morning. They're not a problem. So put your thinking caps on and just have a bit of a think. How can you eat real food more often and more of it instead of taking the shortcut? Like I said, our social media and society have really played their cards well in this fact, because they've made it so easy for us, because we're busy. All the drive-throughs, you don't even have to hop out of your car. Like, super lazy. And we're all guilty of it. I'm just as guilty of it. I'm definitely no saint when it comes to it. When I was going through my binge eating and stuff like that, I'd always go through drive-through. I'd hardly ever pull into the car park to actually go into a Macca's or something like that. It was always a drive-through. And I always made the excuse, I'm in a hurry, I'll eat as I go, instead of making that time. And sometimes that was just a real cop-out. I'll put my hand up to that. It's amazing how you can look back and realize what you're actually doing. So that's it for today, guys. I just wanted a quick one and get that sort of, try and articulate those thoughts that I was having. When did we stop eating real food? And it's been a progression over the last 2 to 3 decades, as society has changed in a whole, and basically the food industry has picked up the slack to make sure that we're not going to go hungry. But at what cost? When was the last time you read a label and realized what's in it? I get shocked when I read labels that say, has a 5-star rating in it, but it has all these preservatives. How can it be a 5-star rating? So, food for thought, guys. That's it for today. I'll stop rambling. Adios. Have an awesome one.